since it's Anthology week over in Killer Flicks, if you don't know what Killer Flicks is, it's a Facebook group that I'm part of, and I run the theme of the week. I do a new theme every Friday. On Wednesdays, I ask for everybody's suggestions on what they would want for the week. Then on Thursday, I post a poll for everyone to vote on, and then once the tally is counted at the end of a 24-hour window, I post the new theme of the week. This week, as I said, is Anthology week. This was something I'd actually like to start doing every week. You know, just start suggesting some more unknown whatever that fits into the theme itself. So this week, as I said, is anthologies. So I would like to talk about a few anthologies I just don't feel like get enough attention and are awesome. Now, lists like this are very hard for me to make because I'm always trying to figure out like what audience I'm trying to cater to here. And I run this channel for horror people. I don't really run this channel for casuals. I run it for hardcore horror fans. So if I say something like Creepshow or VHS or stuff like that, I feel like everyone's gonna be like, dude, I already know about these. And I totally get that. And even if you go to something like Two Evil Eyes, like, you know, the Romero Argento movie, or there's just so many that I'm just like, I think everyone knows about these. So I'm really trying to just stick to things that I never see anyone talk about. So let's get into a few. If you've heard of them, cool. If you haven't, check them out. They're pretty rad. Now, two of these I actually don't own, but they're the first two I want to talk about, so I can't hold them up to show you because they're either out of print and impossible to fucking find, or they're so expensive because they're out of print. The first one I want badly. There's a Blu-ray out there. It's like a European release, and it's crazy expensive anywhere you find it. So, oh my God, I want it so bad. Anyway, it is the Necronomicon Book of the Dead anthology movie from like 92, I think. Brian Yuzna did a segment. I love that movie. It was in my top 10 anthologies easily. I adore it. It never, ever gets talked about, and it is fun and nuts. And there's an incredible HD rip of it on YouTube, which is how I watch it, because I literally have no other way to watch it. I'm not a person who would usually, clearly, I'm into buying movies, so I would buy it if it was possible, within reason. I can find like $100 Blu-ray of this shit. Fuck that. Not spending that much money. But anyway, if anybody ever finds a legit copy of that Blu-ray for fairly cheap, either pick it up yourself or tell me about it so I can pick it up. Thanks. Next up, another one that's out of print and crazy hard to freaking get is Terror Tract with John Ritter. That is a cool movie. He's taking people around to houses and he's showing them, and then he has to tell them the story of like what happened, like full disclosure, like a murder happened in this house. Really cool movie. Absolutely another one that I just don't feel like gets enough attention. Next up, we have Nightmares, which this is kind of like a, I know there's people who talk about it, but just don't feel like it gets enough attention. And this has arguably one of, if not my favorite segments in anthologies ever, the Bishop of Battle with Emilio Estevez and Billy Jacoby, Buddy from Just One of the Guys, my favorite comedy characters of all time. But this movie rocks the shit. Another movie that stars Sean Astin is The Willies. You can pick this up on Amazon for like $4 because it's a Echo Bridge release. But this is a really fun one, cheap, silly. It's kind of more geared towards a younger crowd. It's like a PG-13 movie, but it's still a really fun time, and I just don't feel like it gets talked about enough. This movie has arguably for me the best concept for an anthology film, because anthology films always try to come up with a concept of like, you know, oh, well, I'm showing you around houses, like I said in Tarot Tract, or there's people on a train and each one of them gets their tarot cards read, or whatever, or it's God and the devil fighting over, you know, people. Night Train to Terror, if you want to see that. That's a good movie. I think that's on Amazon Prime right now. There's a good one right there. So check out that one. But this one, The Chilling Visions, 5 Senses of Fear. This was a movie that was on the Chiller Network. And the concept of this one is that each one is based on a different sense of the human body. So one is smell, one is sight, one is touch, one is taste, and one is hearing. And each one of them like has to do with those senses and how they become horrific for the people. And they're all kind of interconnected as it goes on. Fucking awesome. The last segment in this, the hearing one, I think Listen is what it's called, is eerie as shit. This movie's kick-ass, and I never ever hear anyone talk about it. A two-parter here. These were played on MTV, I think, if I remember correctly. Yeah, they were both, or VH1. VH1, that's right. They were a VH1 anthology series. We got 2 movies. They were released on television, and it is the Strange Frequency films. Strange Frequency 1 and 2. Both are really fun. Both have a lot of recognizable faces and have some really, really fun segments. Absolutely recommend Strange Frequency. Obviously, I recommend all of these. Another one that I feel like I see talked about, but I definitely don't feel like the sequel gets any attention at all. The first one gets a decent amount of praise, but I thought the second one was pretty rad as well, is the All Hallows Eve movies. As I said, this one's gotten a little more attention, so I don't really feel like, I don't know if, but it's great. I love this. But I really like the second one too, and I feel like people shit on it a lot. But I just wanted to bring those up because I feel like it's kind of an underappreciated little series here. But yeah, those are some of the ones off the top of my head. As I said, there's plenty of others. If you want more recommendations, you can always ask me. Come over to Killer Flicks. I will be throwing out a ton for the rest of the week. But I just wanted to do this really quick. I literally just grabbed these off the shelf like a minute before I pressed record. And it was like, oh, this would be fun. I'll just grab a few and share. If you've seen any of these and you love them, or if you hate them, you can just tell me. Other recommendations, I've seen a lot. When it comes to pretty much any subgenre of horror, I've seen a lot, so I know I'm kind of annoying when people are trying to recommend things to me, and I'm like, seen a fucking load. And I had like an anthology, you know, oh man, I became obsessed with anthologies for a while, and I was watching all of them, like Grim Prairie Tales with Brad Dourif and James Earl Jones, if I remember correctly. That's a weird movie, man. That's a weird anthology. Cool and near impossible to get, but they have a good rip on YouTube, which is how I watched it, because it's like the only way you can do it. And as I said, like Night Train to Terror and you know, freaking Quicksilver Highway, and just trying to pull some off the top of my head that all stick out. Fuck, dude, so many. Screen Time, and there's tons, so I can give you a fuckload. So anyway, guys, let me know what your favorite ones are. I'm very curious, even if we've all heard of them, like Creepshow or anything. I want to know what your guys' favorite anthology movies are. I don't honestly know what my favorite is. I'm not a big person in favorites, but I would have to say that Chief Woodenhead in Creepshow 2 is the one that makes me the most happy, because I adore Sam Whitemoon in that movie. I think he's hilariously awful. Not an awful actor, an awful human being in the movie, and he just kills me every time. I can't wait to get to the Creepshow series. The only reason I've been putting it off is because I really don't want to watch Creepshow 3 again. Anyways, I've run on long enough, guys. As I said, let me know. All right, come over to Killer Flicks, join the party. All right, guys.